let's get started. Where did you grow up and start skating?
I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, but I didn't really start skating until I moved to like the very country suburbs outside of that. So there was like horses out back of myself. I started skating like by myself.
Cool. Because I remember like before anyone ever like heard of you, I saw an old Josh Katz video. Did you used
Oh
to
my
skate with
God,
Josh
you've seen
Katz?
that?
Yeah, I saw it. Like I used to be a huge fan of Josh Katz, and I saw that back in the day. And then like when he started to come up again, I saw that video pop. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, same dude. Yeah, so there's one of the earlier Spawn Ranch skate parks is in Virginia, and I used to drive 2 hours to go to that skate park. And I remember Josh Katz was there, and all like my core skate homies were just like, "Oh, don't mess with that dude. He's like a YouTuber." And I was like, "What does that even mean?" And then he ended up filming a bunch of clips of me like poaching me, and
Yeah.
then came over afterwards and was like, "Hey, can I post this on my YouTube channel? I filmed a bunch of stuff of you." And I was like, I guess. And he was just like, "Yeah, I have like a ton of subscribers, so it'll do well." And I remember being so thrown off by that. But he just doesn't really have like a social filter, so he just says what he thinks.
Yeah.
And it ended up being sick. Like I ended up like getting like, like attention from it. I was like, "Oh shit." So we ended up filming another one. And yeah, Josh is a good guy. Really awkward in a confident way, but I love Josh.
Yeah. Because it was just like sort of like, was that your first introduction to the whole like YouTube skater thing?
Yeah, 100%. I had no idea that was even a thing until I met Josh.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And it's interesting now that you ride for Free Block and he rides for Revive. So it's kind of like full circle.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because me and him back then had a conversation of like what defines a pro skater, and he was just like ability to sell boards, and I was like ability on a board. And now that I'm here in like the skateboarding world, it's like, oh, you have to have both for it to
Yeah,
like really count.
for sure. Because that's a whole other topic, board selling and all that. That just is
Yeah, whole marketability, whole other thing.
What made you decide to go? You live in like Los Angeles area, right? What put you
Long Beach,
there
yeah, right
besides,
outside of it.
okay. So like what put you out there? Just skateboarding, obviously, right?
I did the classic skateboarder move. Me and my girlfriend broke up, and so you panic and you move to California. That's what we do. Wherever you live in the country, you break up with your girlfriend and you move to California. I actually came out here just to visit for 3 months and live in my van.
Okay.
But when my boss called me back to work, because I did construction and we get laid off in the winter, he was like, "Hey, what would you say if I told you to come back to work tomorrow?" And my response was, "The weather here is beautiful. I don't think I'm coming back." And then I just ended up staying. I've been here for over 2 years now.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Super sick. So did you have any connections when you went out there, or you were just like skating, having fun?
At the time, I was riding for Friendship Skateboards.
Okay.
And then I actually had more friends from Maryland and Pennsylvania that live in California than I did that lived in Maryland and Pennsylvania. Like everyone had already moved out here.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hesitant for a long time just because it's like, oh, California, everyone's fake. But then I got here and I was like, oh no, you just be friends with people who aren't from here. And then I slowly started realizing that people from here, a lot of times are pretty rad too. It's just this shitty East Coast stereotype that we have.
For sure, because we're from like the Midwest Chicago area, so like it's completely different than.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
Do you like living in the van?
So I've had a couple opportunities to not live in the van, and it's just like I never have to drive home, which is great. Like if I go on a trip to San Diego, I don't have to worry about getting a hotel. I don't have to worry about getting to my house at a certain time. It's like I'm already home. All my stuff's already there. So like that side of it is incredible. The only issue is like the shower thing. Plus I don't pay rent and I don't have to worry about like my roommates not doing the dishes. But the only problem is like showers and stuff like that. But you just get a gym membership and have a few friends in different cities and you're good to go. Yeah. I have no plans on moving out of the van anytime particularly soon. It's just too convenient.
What made you decide to start like going more the YouTube route over the core route? I know that sounds cheesy as fuck, but like,
no, that's a real question. Yeah. So where do I start? Okay, so when I got off Friendship, I started getting boards from Primitive.
Okay.
I just like happened to be at courthouse like the very next day, and then I just was like talking to those guys. They're like, "Oh, well, we could probably just send you boards," and I was like, "Oh, like I'm not taking skating that serious." So like, "Oh, we'll just like send you boards." So they just like sent me boards. It was super rad, and then I ended up running into DeVille, who was like the team manager of PAL at Vans. And he was like, "Dude, I'd love to put you fully on, possibly have like a route to going pro, blah, blah, blah." So I started doing that. And in all honesty, like, I love that. I love DeVille. Like, I think PAL's like a really rad company. But I ended up going to Ohio because my girlfriend Haley rides for Revive. with her and like met all of those dudes, and I just kind of saw how Andy and a lot of those guys kind of try to take care of their people, and like how it's legitimately about skateboarding. It's all about having fun. Like there's no crazy pressure. And I came back and I was telling DeVille about it. And I was like, dude, like it was just like really sick, blah, blah, blah. And the team manager of PAL was like, dude, why the fuck don't you just go ride for them? Like no hard feelings. Like, it sounds like that's the best thing for you. Like, I know you're skateboarding. I know what you're into. Like, go ride for them. Like, I'll support you the whole way. So like, DeVille still hooks me up with stuff like, you know, like bearings and stuff like that. But he was one of the first person to really push me that direction. Like, dude, go ride for that shit. So I told Andy about it, and Andy was like, oh, I feel like you'd be a good fit for 3 Block. There's a little bit of talk about me running their social media and stuff like that too. So there's like other options. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Basically Dale Decker, Haley Isaac, and DeVille is why I kind of went this way. Because
it seems like 3 Block, like it's a second company, but it seems like there's a ton of room for it to grow, and the team is getting awesome. Like, it just keeps growing.
Yeah.
And growing. So like, it definitely could be something super sick in the future. Like, so do you want to be a part of the process of like bringing 3 Block like to a bigger and better place, sort of? That's my goal, is to kind of take over like a little bit of the marketing aspect of it. Like, I want 3 Block to be this satirical, almost parody of the skateboarding industry. I want it to be like almost an effigy, where it's sort of ironic and poking fun at how kind of shitty the skateboarding industry is. Like, it doesn't take care of skaters. No one like gets health insurance. No one's getting paid good. Like, it's the top skaters are making minimum wage, and people don't realize it. Unless you're like the top 20 dudes, like, you're scraping by. Yeah. And so just sort of like making a little bit of a mockery of that. The team is getting switched around a little bit. I got some people that I'm really trying to put on that are like both on the level of being really good at skating, and also like, as shallow as it sounds, their personality's marketable. Like, they're funny or you know, goofy or eccentric. That's kind of like what Andy's like brought into everything, sort of. So like, yeah, exactly. Whereas Revive is, I feel, mostly about personality, and second, it's about skating and like putting on his friends. And I want 3 Block to be the vice versa of that. Mostly about skateboarding, but you got to have like a little bit of personality. And I've been talking to the guys in group chat about like just sort of my vision of the company, and everyone seems to be pretty down. So we'll see where it goes. That's awesome. Yeah. So, like, do you think it's kind of tough because it's a little more PG to do some of that sort of satirical stuff, that kind of thing? Well, so I think here's the way I kind of look at it. So Revive is sort of PG, and it's sort of like the market, not necessarily the market, but a lot of the audience is like younger kids and then older people who are getting back into skateboarding, right? Yeah. And they want to be able to watch it with their kids. So, well, when they kind of grow out of that, I'd like to be 3 Block to be the thing that kind of takes them in, as in like our marketing is more towards like from 13 to 25, where it's going to be more edgy. You know, there's going to be like probably like a little bit more swearing and like more adult themed satire, but I don't want it to be like vulgar or anything like that. I think that's kind of like not tasteful. I think like 666 and like fucking Hail Satan, I think that shit's more cringy than like skating a skateboard made of ice. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I agree. It's so played out. I'm just like, dude, get over it. Yeah. What do you do for shoes? I get Adidas from, I can't really say. I get Adidas. I get Adidas for free. And it's from someone high up in the company. Okay, cool. That's awesome though. Yeah. So, yeah. I sort of have it very well rigged up to where like I get all the boards, the bearings, the wheels, everything I need for a skateboard. I get it all for free without having to really give them a ton of footage and like go the hard route of like, I got to go skate this handrail so I can get another package. And like, now it's just like, no, I'm just gonna get the packages, and I've developed some pretty good relationships. Well, you do Instagram a lot, so yeah. Now I'm doing the YouTube thing as well. Do you prefer going out skate parks and filming Instagram clips every day, or going the full video part route? Because I know you did that part with the barracks a few months ago, but what do you prefer? Yeah, I have to do everything. It kind of goes like this. Instagram keeps me motivated to learn new tricks, and like it keeps me motivated to like keep pushing like what I can do on a skateboard, and video parts push me to do stuff that I'm scared of, or like take the tricks that I have to like a, I guess, like more difficult level. So they're both very like motivating for me to like do shit, but they're both like, when I was younger, I was like, I gotta go film this video part, I gotta get an ender, and it was stressful. But now it's like, dude, I'm fucking 33. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I got gray hair coming in. Like, I don't stress anything, but that stuff kind of keeps me in the
younger mindset of like, I want to do more, I want to get better,
Sure.
but not as competitive as maybe I used to be.
Do you think you have a better reach through Instagram to get your footage out and YouTube than you would spending the fucking year grueling away at a video part?
Like 100%. Yeah. So the thing about Instagram is it happens in real time. So I've watched, like when I watch skate videos to get motivated, I watch the same 4 video parts that I've been watching for the last 10 years. Video parts are in one ear and out the other. That's just how it is now. It sucks because all the nostalgia that I have for skateboarding, like growing up waiting for the next video, is dead. But at the same time, it's like, man, if I want to get like hyped to see a trick, I'll just scroll for 5 minutes, see some random person do some random ass cool trick, and it's just like, oh, like now I want to go try to do that trick. So it's just changed, and a lot of people are kind of bitter about it. But I don't think video parts are completely dead. I think it's like you can struggle for a part and put it out, like, you know, film for a year. But I don't think it's going to go as far. No, I think people are going to forget you unless they already follow you on Instagram. I mean, and the skateboarding industry is starting to see that, where they're like putting money and effort into Instagram. Like, hey man, if you're not posting like at least once a week on Instagram, you might not be able to stay on the team. And as cringy as that sounds, that's the industry's rule. You know what I mean? Like it's getting kind of crazy.
But is it sometimes tough if you just like want to skate and have fun, but like you're like stressing over an Instagram clip or whatever, or you kind of just like let it flow? Like if you're having fun trying to trick, film it, then post it on Instagram. Like,
you can't let yourself stress over the Instagram stuff. It doesn't, like, if I like go a while without posting because like I just like I'm not feeling like learning anything or whatever, like it's not that big of a deal to like lose some followers. Like I guess I personally don't look at my skateboarding as so much as a career, as like a hobby that I'm really passionate about. And like, because I kind of gave up on the whole skateboarding thing before I moved to California. It wasn't until I moved here and things just started falling into place that I started gaining traction. When I moved out here, I only had like 900 followers on Instagram. I don't know what I have now, but it's like I have like a couple thousand followers. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, just kind of being around the right people and getting promoted by the right people, I suppose. But yeah, I don't really stress that much unless it's like, I really want to put this YouTube, like I was stressing a little bit about getting a video out last week because it was like something that we had planned out and everything was falling apart. But then I was just like, oh, fuck it. I'll just post it the next day. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So what's your favorite skate video of all time?
I know. My favorite skate video of all time is Lost and Found. It's a blueprint video. And I think one of the main reasons I like it is because it's an hour fucking long and there's so much bonus footage in it. It's like a whole other video. And it's kind of more style based. I really like skaters with really good style just because I don't relate to it. Like I've never had like the really fast and like really flowy skating. I've always been kind of like, no, I'm quirky. I think outside the box. So like Dennis Bouzens is my favorite skater. I'm like really into skaters that are like on the other side of the spectrum as me.
Especially the East Coast, like New York and stuff like that. It's always been about just like style, like that kind of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I love making New York City trips. That place is a blast.
Yeah. What type of content do you want to be pushing on YouTube? Do you want to do like the typical, like the skate, half vlog thing that we mostly see from most of the, I'm not going to name names, but the other big YouTubers who skate who do it, like the half skating, half other stuff? What kind of content do you want to push through YouTube? Yeah,
well, to name names actually. So John Hill had a really good format in around 2018 where it was like he had his videos laid out where it was like the video would start. He would get a Starbucks coffee, like blah, blah, blah. Like there was like almost like a script to it. And that was my guilty pleasure. Like and I've been friends with John forever.
Yeah.
So I actually want to make a parody of that where I literally do his exact like tempo, his drone shots, like the whole fucking 9 yards. But like do it like I'll probably make a joke about like Haley Isaac rhyming with Peachy. Like just like a bunch of like, you know, sort of shots at him. But I want my YouTube to just be kind of fun. And I'm going to do like tutorial stuff and shit like that too. But I don't have a specific direction necessarily as much as like, I just want to put out stuff that I would think is entertaining. And hopefully it finds an audience that is sort of like-minded.
Yeah. Sick. Hell yeah. I love to hear. I used to love John's videos and I still love his videos today. So
yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah. Have you had any ghost experiences? 'Cause I got to ask the question. Ghost experience?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm really interested in this one.
Okay. So I just told the story last night, actually. This is 100% true story. And keep in mind, like, I am not one to be like, oh, I believe in ghosts. But okay, here's how the story goes. It's a little bit long. Is that okay?
Yeah, totally. We got time.
Okay. So one of the times that I moved out to California, classic, me and the girlfriend at the time broke up. She like cheated on me, and then I moved out to California for like a couple months. And I had a buddy who kept describing this girl that he had a crush on that was like very much like a girl that I'd be into. He was like, oh, she has short hair. She likes the shin. She's really artsy. I'm like, oh, she sounds great. Well, anyways, we all go out to like a party or something like that. And I'm like I'm like, oh, I don't want to say his name. I'm trying to hype my friend up super hard. Yeah. And she's just like not kind of biting. And then she's kind of being a little bit flirtatious with me. And I was like, oh, this is like not great. Well, anyways, we all go back to her place, and like he's like trying to do his thing and she's not really feeling it. Well, I go and lay down on the floor, and she ends up like laying down next to me that night and like talking to me, and I was like, hey, listen, like I'm just getting out of a serious relationship. My really into you. Like I can't, like we can't do anything. Like I'm not that dude. And she's like, all right, cool. So she goes and like sleeps in the other room, and then I wake up in the middle of the night and she's standing over me, and I'm like what are you doing? And I like kind of like swatted her legs, and I guess I missed or whatever. But then as like my eyes are adjusting, I realize that it's not. It looks a lot, but it's fucking not. It has glasses like sparkles like out, same hair like length, but it looked off. And I was like, what the fuck? So I'm like freaking out, and I stand up and I run to the hallway, and I turn on the hallway light, and it's still floating there. And then I'm like, oh fuck. So I turn on the bedroom light, and it's still fucking there in the room with the light on. And I'm like, and as up, like we both kind of catch it like float through the ceiling. He was like, oh, what was that? But then he like fell back asleep. So the next morning, like I sleep in the hallway because I'm freaked the fuck out. The next morning I go, so I was like, hey, so I saw a ghost in your room last night, I guess. And she goes, oh, the girl with the glasses? And I was like, what? And she's like, okay, so I've never seen it, but my ex-boyfriend has seen it. This guy that I used to hook up with has seen it, and my stepdad's seen it. It's only called my name. And I was like, that is fucking crazy.
That is.
So the story goes on. So we end up like talking a little bit more, and she ends up telling me this really weird fact about her. She's like, when I masturbate, I picture myself hooking up with myself, but as a guy. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like, that's really weird or whatever. Me and her like eventually stopped talking, and I ended up moving back east. But then it started dawning on me like, man, that thing that was floating above me looked a lot, but it was masculine. It was just a masculine. Holy shit, that thing was a succubus. Like that thing was like a demon that like feeds off her sexual energy. And the reason that it was kind of vibing me is because she had a thing for me, and her ex-boyfriend had a thing for her. And, you know, the guy who she hooked up with had a thing. Those are the people who saw it. For stepdad, I don't know what's up with that. But this is like 100%, I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating anything. But what's crazy about this story is like, even though I spent like 10, 15 Mississippis with this thing, I'm still not convinced that that's what I saw because it's so fucking crazy. Like it's so out of it that I can't believe my own memory. You know what I mean? But I swear that happened.
Dude, that's awesome. That's a great story. Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, it sucked. It still freaks me out when I think about it. Oh, whoa, there's one more thing. And then she sends me a picture like maybe like a year later. Like we started talking again. She was like, oh, like I'm doing good. I grew my hair out, blah, blah. She sends me a picture, and there's a fucking like weird blur in the photo. And I was like, what's that blur? And she's like, oh, it's not on my end. It's not in my photo. So I stopped talking to her.
That's just gnarly.
Yeah, it's so scary. So scary.
One last question. It's not skate related as well. Do you have any crazy like van stories living in your van in the area you live in, Long Beach? I know Long Beach can be fucking gnarly. So any crazy crackheads, crazy people trying to fuck with you, anything like that?
Yeah, I definitely got some of that. So I'll tell you one quick thing, and then I'll tell you a story. I've had 2 separate occasions where people are in fist fights and they're fighting against my van while I'm in there sleeping.
Oh, God.
Which is pretty amusing. But the other story that I'll tell is when I got out here maybe like a year and some odd months into it, I started kind of seeing this girl, and she was staying the night in my van, and we were just like sleeping or whatever. And sometimes like I used to, when I first moved out here, I was so used to not locking my doors that like sometimes I just like wouldn't lock my doors. I lock them every time now, but I left the back door unlocked, and someone opens up the van door when we're in there. And I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm trying to like, I just woke up, so I'm super out of it, but I'm trying to intimidate this person where I'm basically like half naked, and he's like coming into my van. I'm like, oh, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm trying to like reach for him, but I'm super out of it. And he goes, oh, I was just making sure you guys were okay, man. Hey, man, you guys got any weed for sale? And I was like, Like, it was like, it felt so crazy. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? No. And he just like shut the door and left. And I was like, man, Long Beach is nuts. And now I was like at Cherry Skate Park.
Oh, really? Just like sit
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I was right there.
Yeah, I have a friend who lives in a van too, and he says that like Cherry, you can just fucking spend as much time there as you want, right?
Yeah, no one fucks with you. People trip out a lot about like where to sleep in a van. People are always like, do you ever get kicked out? But it's like, no, you just stay in neighborhoods and change what street you're on. And
yeah,
you don't, I never get any shit. And the only time I have gotten shit was when me and Haley both had the coronavirus, and we were staying in we just were parked in a parking garage because it was hot. And a cop came over to us and was like, hey, what do you guys think you're doing? And I was like, oh, we have coronavirus. We're, social distancing. And he like freaked out. He was like, oh. And he like backed up. I was like, I'll show you my ID. He was like, no, you're good. Bye. And he's just left.
I actually have it right now, so I'm quarantined. But yeah, was that?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, was that gnarly having it? Like because I remember seeing when you had it and you like fucking like lived in your van during it. How was that?
Dude, it could have been so much worse. Thank God I have like friends that like take care of me. Like I work at Keen Ramps, and the owner's soon to be wife, she works at a juice bar. She owns a juice bar actually. So they like hooked me up with some stuff. Dale like, did stuff for me. For showers, I would just like kind of like wash with a bottle of water. People would bring me water because I was trying not to go in any stores to like spread it. This is also really early where we thought it was like insanely contagious. So I was like avoiding everyone. Luckily I had Haley with me who also got it. There was 2 days where I ended up in the hospital where like I just got so weak that I couldn't move. Like I remember I had some something in my pockets, and I went in one pocket, and then like I was so exhausted that I had to take like a break before I went in my other pocket because I just like had no energy.
That's nice.
But I never had any of the respiratory issues. And also I never got my sense of smell back. I still can't smell. And
can't smell?
Yeah, I'm probably never getting it back. Can you taste? It's really weird.
Can you taste though?
I can. So the way it works is when you lose your sense of smell, you kind of also lose your sense of taste, because like if I had a bottle of apple juice and a bottle of orange juice and you blindfolded me, I could tell you that they're both most likely juices, but I couldn't tell you which is which.
That's
yeah, I can taste sweet, savory, salty, but I can't taste flavors.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah, so I just eat really healthy now because it's like, fuck it, I can't taste it anyway.
I've had like no appetite the last couple of days I've had it, so it's pretty insane.
What I did, because I obviously lost my appetite real gnarly too, was I was drinking those Ensure shakes because they have all the protein, like meal replacement things. Yeah. And the dark chocolate one actually tastes pretty good. So
okay.
Yeah, that's what I did. It helped me a lot to stay like kind of have a little bit more energy from not being starving.
Yeah. Well, not skating too. When you have it, you can't skate really.
Oh yeah, no, and it took me like, when I finally was over it took me a solid week before I could really skate again because my energy was so depleted. I was like, it felt like I had been bedridden for like a year. It was crazy.
Yeah. Damn, that's gnarly, dude. Well, thank you so much.
No worries. You have a good one. I hope you feel better, man.
Thank you.